So today we're reviewing the park.
Universal Orlando. Not from California, Orlando.
Yeah, the Orlando Universal.
And it's basically broken into two different parks. If you're looking at it, there's one on the left and one on the right. They're both in the same area, which is kind of around their restaurants and mall area.
But they're two different locations and then two different ticket entries into these parks.
One's called Islands of Adventure and the other one's just called Universal Studios. So we're gonna talk about Islands of Adventure first, and then we'll talk about Universal Studios. It's two different parks. We went to both. I'd say we were at both pretty much the same amount of time. We were there for basically 1.5 days. We were there. We spent an entire Saturday and then half of a Sunday there. Definitely got almost all the rides in, and that's what we'll be talking about. If we didn't hit a ride, we'll make sure we mention that when we get to it.
I guess we want to talk about a few different sections. I guess these sections I've written down we can just apply to both parks because it's pretty much the same. But as far as the section goes for food, both of these parks, I don't know about you, but I think you can agree with that the food option there's very good. There's a lot of different food stands, and in particular desserts with foods was really good. There was a churros stand about every 10 yards you walked in there, which compared to another park like Disney,
which you'll see
really
in our
hard to
future
find.
reviews of those.
Yeah, and really comparing it with that, every 10 yards there's a food stand, and the variety of foods at every stand, it doesn't take very long to find the one you're looking for. So food is definitely very good in that aspect.
Yeah, I would say we really only ate at one restaurant per se, and at both parks. We actually ate at the same restaurant once both days.
Yeah.
We hit the churro stands basically a few times each day we were there, and there were churro stands about absolutely everywhere at both parks, both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, and they were all great. And that's honestly where Universal, in my opinion, has Disney World by a lot, is the amount of churros that they're selling. That's something that you can't even get it at certain parks in Disney World. You can in a couple of them, but the selection of churros and desserts and pretzels and stuff stands everywhere is great. The one restaurant we did eat at was called the Burger Digs, which is right next to, it was just right in the Jurassic Land, and we ate there both days, and I thought the food was great. I guess we want to mention there's a ton of eating places right outside of both parks around that area. There's like the Hard Rock Cafe. The place we ate dinner at on that Saturday night was called the NBC Sports Brew and Grill, or Grill and Brewers. The food I got there was amazing. It was a great restaurant. TVs were everywhere. I wish we had a restaurant like that around where we live in Ohio. I mean, there's a chocolate emporium place that I was too full to eat. You guys got the shakes there. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was really good. Yeah, that is something to mention. That is something that is not in the park, but it's by design. The parks are built there with that. It's definitely a big positive. Is other parks are really isolated. That is a great atmosphere to have that right there for sure.
It's just all there.
It's a big positive. You move on to service.
So for service, we're complaining about a lack of help from certain people, or lack of people there to answer questions. There's been a few times throughout the day we were in line, we were getting in line to do one of the Harry Potter rides. And we were like, is this the standby line? And he just kind of nodded and pointed this. He went like this. There's 4 different lines. There's the express lane, the standby, single rider, and then there's another lane for handicap. And we didn't know where we were going. And they're just, for us, this is the first time we went to an amusement park like this in a while. We went to a park where we don't know any of the names of these rides besides Jurassic Park, really. And when we don't know what the names of the rides are, specifically the Harry Potter stuff, there needs to be signs. And it definitely doesn't help when some of the names are very complex names because we don't watch Harry Potter. So that's just kind of from an outsider's opinion, not really knowing where we were. The service was nice when they were talking, but there's a lack of people helping people that were lost in the park, I think.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of put that in organization, but yeah, if you don't have clear signs and stuff like that, you need good service. For the most part, it's not really bad service, it's just lack thereof service. I did have there was one really rude guy. I remember you were going through the line, he said, let's go, really angrily, which, I'm not going to cry about it, but I have to mention that because that kind of was a little weird. But that was really the only bad service moment. But yeah, for the most part, I guess it's just maybe organization. We're also new to the park. But yeah, going into the park for sure, there needs to be better service about people telling you what to do. And I guess if we had to move on to maintenance, as far as maintenance of the park, that would go as far as lines,
top-notch
stuff moving fast. And yeah, that's definitely really good. I think the food in particular is something, it's separated from that. The maintenance of it was really quick. The trash, it was great. There was never a bunch of trash laying around. That was all maintained really well. I could never noticed anything like that.
And kind of just hit on it now before we get into like the specific rides. The lines for a lot of the rides were, while there were some really long lines, some crazy long lines, everything, the amount of detail was Disney World level, and honestly better than some Disney rides. Like, there was the Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. That line
long enough
was an amazing line. There was like, you're like inside of a cave. Like, if you're claustrophobic like I am, you have to really be like telling yourself like the line's gonna move. Like, it was everything detailed. There was eggs you could touch. There was like, like just tons of details. Like, there's
that one
every single
with
ride.
the shadows above
Yeah,
you.
like you felt like there was the bikes above you. The amount of detail in all the lines was amazing. And there was not one line where I was like, this is getting pretty bad.
Yeah, the lines probably should have been its own section, but yeah, the lines are. We've been to a lot of parks. We've been to Disney for how many years? And yeah, the lines are absolutely insane at this park. I mean, the amount of detail is just unbelievable. I mean, like you said, the cave one, I did feel claustrophobic in a certain part, and man, it gets really tight in there. But I was honestly just so astonished by how much work went into these lines. It's not just a queue.
King Kong.
It's like the line is the part of the ride. You almost
King Kong?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. And Kong is so amazing. It's like if you rush through these, you almost want there to be a line. You almost want there to be an hour-long line because there's so much to look at. It's like an adventure in itself. If we get to the actual rides, starting out with Islands of Adventure because it has more rides.
So,
you just want to go around.
And the ones we'll talk about the most are the ones that we rode. And like we said, we basically hit all the ones that we wanted to hit going into this trip. And we'll start from going to the left. Like you'll see on the map right here, there's a circle. We'll start from the left, which is the way we kind of went at first day that we were there.
And we did most of these rides.
Area to the left from the entrance, which is Marvel Superhero Island, which is really amazing comic stuff. There's superheroes everywhere. There's basically 3 main rides in that section. We only did 2 of them. So the first one of the day we did was the Incredible Hulk coaster, which I think this is probably the best coaster we did the entire trip.
Yeah.
Like as far as roller coasters go. It was it sends you off pretty fast, some amazing loops. The music I really liked in the ride too. It added to it. You're going over water. It was kind of. I thought it was decently long. It wasn't too quick. I thought it could have. I wish it was a little bit longer, but it was definitely not short.
Personally, Hulk is my favorite superhero, and this ride it doesn't really do much of that as far as the real Hulk in the movies. But this is definitely an amazing ride. I loved this ride. I love how you go up and turn really quick, and it is a great coaster for sure. You go through mist. Yeah, I definitely loved this ride.
Walked a little more to the left, and we did a Spider-Man ride. When we walked in, I didn't really know what to expect. I was hearing there was like a car thing you ride on, and something like a VR type thing. And this one really caught me by surprise. And I really enjoyed this ride a lot. I mean, the special effects, not just for this ride, but for the entire park, were amazing. This one you can kind of compare to Transformers, which we'll talk about later. I thought I really enjoyed this ride. It was definitely, you felt like you were right there. Especially for, I didn't think I would like it because it was like comic characters. It wasn't like movie, and you think this isn't going to look that good. But they did it. It was pretty entertaining. I had a good time with that one.
Yeah, I did not have high expectations for this ride. It definitely caught me by surprise because I saw some videos of this and I thought, oh, that's stupid. But yeah, definitely proved wrong after. It was pretty crazy, and I really did like this ride a lot more than I thought I would. And I really thought this was going to be a bad ride. I thought this is just going to be a stupid ride. But it was actually really good coming out of it, and it was a lot of fun.
The lines for the Hulk, you're walking through a lab.
Yeah.
Amazing detail. Spider-Man, you're walking through the Daily Bugle or whatever it's called. Like the office building, like you're in the place. That kind of wrapped up our time in Marvel's Superhero Island. The next one over is Skull Island Reign of Kong. And the ride is called, that's the land area, and it's also the ride is called Skull Island Reign of Kong. And this one, especially as a King Kong fan, I was a little bit disappointed going in because it's not the King Kong of the MonsterVerse, but it's still, I really like that movie with King Kong. And the amount of detail they have outside of this area and on the ride really got me to love this ride the first time I did it. And I think I actually did this ride 3 times. And each time I was noticing things that I didn't notice the time before. Like there was this bat thing that picks up this girl, and I didn't realize he gets eaten by those slug things. I loved how the use of animatronics, and in the line with the old lady. At the end, there's a huge King Kong. The line was amazing. Like you're walking through those caves. My dad, they actually used a real person at one point. There was dark holes in it. Cause how deep does that go in? And I was gonna shine my flashlight in there, but someone was in there working, and they moved this like spider across it, and it made my dad jump. And then
luckily I wasn't there.
A hand reached out at one point. This ride, Skull Island Reign of Kong, was absolutely amazing in my opinion. How the fight, you really do feel like you're right there. Like I will admit it was a little bit hard to. You're constantly looking side to side, but it looks so real. Like you almost want to have more time to do it, so where you can see all the detail. Because like there's a scene where like he's throwing T-Rexes around, climbing over the thing again, like saving you in the vines. This is an absolute great ride, and it was out there with some of my favorites of the entire trip.
This ride was definitely good. I have to admit, I did see this POV a lot online, even as a kid, because this has been there for so long. But yeah, I definitely do like how you go into the line and you're already immersed into the world. The whole ride starts in the line, and that's why I already praised this park for the lines. But you're already on the ride in the line. You're already in it. And yeah, it was really creepy, environment in there. You see the tribal lady chanting, and you see the lights going, and you even hear Kong breathing through the wall and stuff. And the ride itself is great. The first time Kong punches a T-Rex, and it's like right into me.
You felt like the swabber.
Oh yeah, I felt the saliva go right into the truck, and it was amazing. So it's definitely a great ride, and I noticed in the last time there was a spider behind us the last time.
I didn't notice that.
There's something new to notice every time, which is nice. And that was definitely a great ride. I definitely liked it.
And moving over, this is when you get into the Jurassic Land or Jurassic Park area. And for me, as obviously a big Jurassic Park fan, this is easily my favorite section of the entire Universal Orlando. And I could have spent my entire day, both days in this park, just looking around at the different stuff. I could spend an hour just talking about how you see like different cardboard cutouts of the creatures. Blue, one of his figures in there. The amount of toys and stuff. I bought this blanket, and I bought a couple other things. They charge a lot in East Newport.
We can charge anything we want, $2,000 a day, $10,000 a day, and people will pay it.
Yeah, East Newport's not cheap.
They definitely spared no expense in that land.
There was no coupon day.
The main ride they had was obviously the Jurassic Park River Adventure. And this one I had watched 1,000 times before on YouTube. I've watched the one in California a lot, the Jurassic World one, which is honestly a good thing because it kind of made me forget about the one we were going to do.
Yeah. Because
it just was... I love boat rides and seeing the dinosaurs. I've soaked up every single bit of it. The first time we did it, the T-Rex at the end was amazing. The amount of fog, you couldn't even tell he was just floating there. I've watched it online when there's just lights, and it's still pretty scary. He's just kind of like being hung there. But the hill was way steeper than I thought it would be too.
Oh yeah.
And I absolutely love the Dilophosaurus shooting the water at people. It was kind of pretty cool. The first time I got shot right above my eye, which is pretty cool for like the movie. And I just loved the entire area. That restaurant we had at the Burger Digs place. There was a really cool like main lobby area you could walk around. The gift shops. This entire area was easily one of my favorite parts of this entire trip.
So this ride was definitely really good. I've seen the POV for this a lot. And like you were saying, we saw the new Jurassic World ride. But I think it is good that this was still Jurassic Park because we hadn't done this one yet. So at least we got to do it ourselves once. And yeah, I've seen this so many times. Jurassic Park, all-time classic. And I definitely did. I was very impressed by the animatronic at the end and the whole function, how he's trying to bite you. It was something that I think even as Disney beat with how efficiently animatronics were moving.
Yeah.
I definitely loved it, and it's Jurassic Park, so how can you not?
And then really quick, as we do to kind of speed this up a little bit, there was a Pterodon Flyers ride that we were going to try to do. Because we saw adults on it, and we get in there, and they're like, you have to have a kid between this amount in order to do it. We could not do that one. It seemed like a pretty cool ride. I wanted to see how long it was. Because you go over certain areas, it would have been really cool to see. But they
adults
were too tall.
literally, physically, adults could ride it, but they couldn't unless there was a kid.
So
not in my life did I ever think that I would be too tall for a ride. I mean, not in my life.
It was in the Camp Jurassic area, so I guess you kind of assumed it was like the kids there, but I still was kind of frustrated about that. Moving on to the next section was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and this is kind of where...
It's the whole park.
This is kind of the last rides we did in this section, because there were 3 main rides there, and we did all 3. The first one, since I was going to go in order of that, was the main castle one, which we didn't really know what it was going into the line. And first of all, the lines, we were walking for like 10 minutes before we got it, and there was no lines. I'm like, how is this? Is it 10 minutes just because it takes you 10 minutes to get to the ride? And we eventually found out that it was called the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is it was amazing because I've never been at a park where I'm sitting down on a ride and I'm like, wait, what are we about to do? Because we were expecting a basket ride, and I'm like, at first I'm like, is this gonna be like it felt like we were singing a Haunted Mansion type thing, so I'm like, this is gonna be a really slow thing. And all of a sudden you just tilt back. And this is honestly one of the biggest surprise for me. But I think it's a bigger surprise than Spider-Man. You're kind of flying around with half Soarin', if you know what Soarin' like is at Epcot, where you're looking at like a screen to like animatronics, which the animatronics were amazing. There was this like ghost guy, spiders. I really enjoyed this ride a lot, and I wish we did it again. We only did this ride once, but I really enjoyed it. So what were your thoughts on Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey?
Yeah, see, this personally, I thought this was good. I didn't think it was as good as you. I still thought I liked how they used the green screen for the visual effects sometimes, and then they went to real things, and I definitely liked that. But I mean, if you had to compare it, I can't help but compare it to a ride like Avatar, where the green screen is just so phenomenal that I felt a little that this wasn't as good as that. But I still thought it was good. It was definitely not one of my more favorite rides.
I think I even said this to you. I think the reason I like this ride so much is because of the real life stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff was so great to me that I was able to get through the screen stuff, because the stuff seeing the guys floating around and like how close we were to like a face of a spider, that stuff was just amazing to me. That's what I really loved the most about it. The screen was okay, but that was definitely my selling point for that. The next one over was the basket ride, the long-awaited basket ride. We eventually found out that the flight of the hippogriff was kind of a dud. And we didn't really realize that there was no babies in line. So we get in there. As soon as we sit down, I'm looking around, there's a lot of kids around us. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. A lot of kids on a crazy ride. But then we get into this little car, and we're like barely getting in there. Like, are we going to be able to fit this thing? And the worker was like, do you want to sit? Do you want to get into separate seats? I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And we sat down, and then within like 10 seconds, we were done.
It wasn't that short.
It was pretty short.
It was pretty short.
In my opinion, if you know what Disney World is, it was the Barnstormer of Universal. It was okay. There was no big drop. It was a kid ride. I'm not gonna rip. It's like ripping a freaking kids movie, but.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I didn't enjoy that much either. Yeah, but yeah, it was faster and longer than the Goofy's Barnstorm. But
yeah,
it was a little better than that. But yeah, it's very forgettable, and it was a kid's ride.
Okay. Finally, the next one is the big one that our favorite ride. It's called Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. This one was going into it. I didn't know what we were waiting in line for again. We were in line before they even opened. So, and we waited probably 2 hours for one time, and then almost an hour and a half the second time to do this. And I'm not sure what your opinion is, but I know I really enjoyed this ride a lot.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite ride, but it's probably my second favorite ride. And the amount of unique things they do in it, with like dropping and going backwards, it was absolutely an amazing experience. And I was like, this better be freaking good. I'm going to wait 2 hours for it. And I think it delivered good. But I thought it could have been a little bit longer for how long the wait was. But it was an amazing ride with animatronics and really cool stuff. And I really enjoyed this ride.
Yeah, this is easily one of the top rides I've ever ridden in my life. I was actually on the front row for the first time I rode this. I was in the gunner seat, because there is a motorcycle and then a little side package thing that they are different experiences for sure. One feels like you're driving. But yeah, this ride, it stops, it goes up and backwards and down. And really, I don't even want to spoil this for people. You can watch the POV if you want. And definitely don't watch the POV if you're going to ride this. But this is an absolutely revolutionary ride that is just so crazy and is easily one of the top rides in all of that I've ever done in my life. And I knew when we were lined up outside the park, or through the park, I knew it was something good, but it still blew me away.
And that basically wraps up all the rides we did at Islands of Adventure. And then we hopped on a train over to the other park, which is right there next to it, called Universal Studios. The one on the left, the first one on the left, is called Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. And this one, I think I liked it the most out of my brother and sister who rode it with me. I really like the element of having you can pick a song you listen to the whole time, and you go straight up. I've never ridden a ride where you go, like, when you're, I was thinking of maybe holding onto the camera or holding onto my phone and wallet that ride, just so I didn't want to have to put it in a locker. But if I didn't, I'd have lost everything from the get-go. I had like a little pass in my pocket, and I had to go like this really quick, because you like absolutely go straight back. Like if your seat fell off, you were done. I remember we were sitting on a curb watching it go by. It looked like it was going so smooth.
Yeah.
And then when we did it, I don't even remember that part when we were riding, because it was just not as. I kept waiting for some smooth banks.
Yeah, that made
we never really got to a smooth bank. It was still a fun ride, but it wasn't that long of a wait when we did it, but I don't think I'd wait more than an hour to do it, probably.
No. Yeah, I definitely hyped this one up because I wanted to do this the night that night
Saturday
before.
night.
Yeah, Saturday night.
We did it Sunday
and
morning.
with the lights, had cool lights, and yeah, like you said, it sounded so quiet going by. And I agree, it was underwhelming. I still liked it, and I still thought it was scary and whatever going directly up as you started. And we were saying, no wonder there's a metal detector, because if you were going up, all your phones and keys would be flying into people's faces just in the beginning. But yeah, I liked how you picked the song. I definitely liked that for sure. But it was underwhelming, and it was a little rough. I don't hate it. I would do it again.
Oh, I would definitely do it again. The next ride we did is Revenge of the Mummy, and this was probably one of my favorite rides too of this entire park. Definitely my favorite ride of probably this park, Universal Studios, because it was just such a great, the use of animatronics again, and how long it was. I thought there was some really cool stuff they did. I mean, we're big fans of the movies, so all the stuff connected to the movie is amazing. Seeing it in person, the use of fire in this one was amazing. There's a part where fire goes above you. It looks like you're in like a grill. And you feel the heat. I really liked the end where you went through smoke too. Remember that where you go through smoke, and you think the ride's over, and there's like a girl on this thing. You know she's fake. I was like, hey, what's going on? It's kind of weird. And then all of a sudden she just gets blown up, and then Mommy's there, and what's he say?
Death is only the beginning.
But it was a really cool ride. The line was amazing too. I thought some really cool stuff in the line. You're in a pyramid. Yeah, I really enjoyed this ride a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think this ride is great. We love The Mummy. We've watched it way more than we'd be willing to admit. Yeah, the overall ride, I thought it was shorter. I thought it was a little shorter than I would have liked. I do like how you stop, and different stuff happens, and you turn, and you see the bugs go on the wall. And then, yeah, I like the part where you start going up, and then it looks like the mummy's eating you, and you're on the coaster. And there's a crazy effect where it looks like the track is ending ahead of you, and then the lighting changes, which I thought was really, really creeped me out. And then, yeah, I like it. It looks like you stopped, and then you go straight down. Death is only the beginning. And I liked all the little messages in there because we've watched the movie so much. Like when they say, even the Magi won't save you now. I like those lines. I definitely liked this ride for sure. Love The Mummy. And it's definitely one of my more favorite rides here.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
And then going over from there, kind of across from there, is Transformers: The Ride 3D.
Yeah.
This is definitely another one. It's kind of like a Spider-Man thing. I was like, how good can this be if it's one of those screen things? And once again, they surprised me and pulled it off with an amazing ride. Some amazing fight sequences too, with the Megatron, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee has an appearance in there. Starscream, he's in there. If you're a Transformers fan, you got to be soaking up the whole experience there with the line. At the end, Optimus Prime gets nose to nose with us, which was an amazing experience.
Way too close.
It was really a great ride. It was an awesome thing, and I thought it was a great experience too.
Oh yeah, this is definitely one where I thought, the Spider-Man one surprised us, and I thought, okay, another one of these, and it's the same car even as we're getting on. I'm like, okay, this won't be... I like the first 3 Transformers, but then I stopped watching them. But this ride caught me by surprise again. The action is great in this movie, and it's not shots from the movie. These are all recreated. And the action's great, and I love how you kind of keep running away, and then if there's a certain point in the ride where you actually fight, and it's crazy. I'm really surprised how much I loved this ride.
And there was also one more bad Decepticon, this sucking in thing where he's pulling you back in. Some really cool stuff there.
Oh, I know, that was awesome. Yeah, how it looks like you're getting sucked in, and the falling, and then everything with that's really great. And then even at the end, you see the real Megatron.
The Bumblebee appearance was pretty cool too. I thought how he plays music and stuff.
That was definitely great though, and it was a big surprise. I loved that ride.
There was a huge dragon on the building. The whole time that day we were trying to find the dragon ride. I mean, we see on the map here, there's a dragon on a building. I'm like, where is this?
Yeah, then I asked a worker where it was, and she said, go through the magical red wall over there, and then it appeared. And it was pretty crazy.
And it was there. And then that ride, with the next ride we'll talk about, and in my opinion, I kept waiting for it to really start. Now, I don't want to... The amount of detail on getting to the ride was amazing, but there was animatronics in this, almost like a school building or work building. It was really cool. We took videos. Here's videos of those here. You take a freaking elevator up to... Well, you go down. I'm like, how low are we going? Or maybe we didn't go down at all. But we went down pretty low. Then we go upstairs. You get to the ride. And once again, the use of special effects in this one was amazing. You're getting chased by this girl, this electric girl, and or lightning girl, and then the main Voldemort or whatever. There was a cool drop where you do drop. It's kind of once again like a VR type thing where you're seeing things. I kept waiting for this to really. I didn't think we were gonna go upside down, but I was really waiting for a major hill, and the hill wasn't big enough for me. But I still enjoyed this ride. I don't think I would wait more than an hour for it, but it was, you would definitely wait in line just to see all the stuff and like just be a part of that area.
Yeah.
I liked this ride, but I didn't really enjoy it.
I agree. I think this ride, it was definitely good. It was different. It was unique. The different cars that spin around as you're going. There's more green screen. It's probably not green screen. The screens.
If you wear 3D glasses.
Yeah, you wear the 3D glasses. The 3D was great, but it was kind of underwhelming. It wasn't really underwhelming. It was all right. It wasn't bad at all. I'm not saying that at all.
Good.
It was good. I just thought it wasn't as good as the other ones, in my opinion. It was good, but I just think I like Transformers better. I like the motorbikes better. I just think, it wasn't much of a thrill ride when it probably should have been more of a thrill ride. And again, I have to mention that I have not watched Harry Potter movies, so I might have loved it if I loved Harry Potter. But yeah, it was all right. I definitely would ride it again, but I wouldn't wait more than an hour.
So really, the only ride we really did was E.T. Adventure. This one was obviously going in. I was expecting kind of like a Peter Pan like ride, and I think it's a lot better than Peter Pan in my opinion. I mean, it was a lot longer than I thought. The line was really cool. You're like in the forest.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of detail in there was amazing. I think they might use that for the horror nights thing they do. There are some really cool trees.
Scar some kids.
There's things I've recognized in that room from a Haunted Maze. I watched the werewolf one with the trees. They might use that for that. Yeah. But really cool animatronics once again. Obviously it's for kids. There's some scenes where like the cops are trying to chase you. You're not going that fast, but you do feel like you're kind of flying off the ground a little bit. And then you go to the planet, which is a major surprise. I thought it was going to end there. And you're on this weird planet, which had some cool waterfalls, animatronics, some scary little like baby ETs. And I actually enjoyed this ride a lot more than I thought I would. I definitely enjoy this ride. I think it's just as good, if not better, than Peter Pan on that level. It's not that much of a thrill ride, but it's just a ride that you would do just to do it. I think it's one of their classics from this park.
Oh yeah, I definitely love this ride. The main reason why I love it is because sometimes the parks will take out rides because they're not as technologically advanced as the other ones. I love the fact that they have kept this.
Yeah, they should keep that.
It is it's a movie that we grew up with, just like Chris Stuckman. We grew up with, and it is a movie that is just, I just have such a strong part of like our childhood watching this movie. And it's definitely such a fun little ride, and it's great how you're on the bikes and you go over. And it's definitely a really cool little ride to do, and it's definitely a great one. I love the fact that they have kept this, even though there's a lot, it's definitely outdated, but I still think it's a great ride to go through, and I definitely love this one a lot. Alright, so this is the one ride we did not ride at Universal, but that our mom and dad did. So what were your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it was called the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train Ride.
Is that a long enough name?
And what did you think of it?
I thought it was a kid's ride, but for me, being older, I'm only able to do so many rides without feeling queasy, so I felt like it was one that we could do. Enjoyed it. It was nice and easy, and definitely would see great enjoyment for younger people, kids, in riding it.
And it did go through the alphabet, so it started with A, and it ended with the letter Z, and it was like a rhyming thing through the whole alphabet.
That wraps up all our ride discussing. And so my favorite ride of Universal Orlando, out of just the entire parks, out of both of them, easily had to be the Jurassic Park River Adventure. It really lived up to the hype. I hope they're able to create the Jurassic World ride, but without taking this one out. I wish they could keep this one in there and make a separate one for Jurassic World. My dream would be they could have a ride for each movie. That's just not going to happen. Have a Spinosaurus ride for the third one, something like that. Or if they're going to add the Jurassic World element into this one, at least keep the stuff they have in now and just expand on it. That's easily my favorite ride of Universal Orlando, was the Jurassic Park River Adventure.
Yeah, and my favorite ride at Universal is the Incredible Hulk coaster. I have a soft spot for the Hulk, and personally, how you go into the chamber where you actually looks like you're getting turned into the Hulk. You go up the hill, it speeds up, you spin around, and there's a Hulk growl, and then you go through the smoke. I just loved this ride. Even setting aside that it's not the Hulk, it was a great coaster, great thrill ride, how quickly you go off on the first hill, you spin around, and you get to see people off to the side, you go through the smoke. It's great. And then the fact that it's the Hulk and the whole line and all the experience like that, seeing the Hulk out front, just makes this my favorite ride at Universal, even though there are plenty of great rides at this park. This is definitely my favorite ride at Universal. All right, then.
Our sister's was the motorbike adventure. Our mom's was the motorbike adventure too. And then our dad's was
It was Con.
Con. So that wraps up our very in-depth review of
cut this
Universal Orlando. That was just from our first trip ever in our lives here in 2020. So be on the lookout for a lot of amusement park reviews. There'll be a lot to come. And hope you guys like it. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.